Don't come to Mom's birthday party. You'll ruin the photos. You don't fit the vibe. That was the text I got from my sister Lauren, exactly 10 minutes after I'd finalized the $15,000 payment for the venue, the catering, and the band. My fingers trembled as I stared at my phone, reading her message again and again. Not a single thank you. Just that. It felt like a punch to the gut, but honestly, it wasn't new. For years, my family had seen me as the quiet failure. I'd left my high-paying corporate job to start a nonprofit, and ever since, they treated me like I was barely scraping by. They didn't know that my little nonprofit, the Cascade Foundation, had grown into a $300 million powerhouse, one that I quietly funded myself. I could feel the heat rising in my chest. My heart pounded, but I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe I was overreacting? I opened our family group chat. Dozens of messages about outfits, decorations, and photo backdrops, but not one message acknowledging my role in the party. Not a single word. Fine, I thought. If they wanted to erase me, I could disappear completely. I opened my laptop, logged into the hotel's event portal, and with one click, canceled the payment. Within an hour, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Lauren's name flashed across the screen over and over, followed by Mom's, then Dad's, then even Aunt Marie's. I ignored every call, letting the vibrations rattle against my desk until they finally stopped. By 7 p.m., a message popped up from Mom. "Sweetheart, the hotel says they can't find the payment. Did something happen?" I didn't reply. Not yet. Instead, I poured myself a glass of wine, sat by the window, and watched the city lights flicker as I thought about every year ID silently paid for their holidays, their trips, their extravagant parties, never once asking for credit, never once asking for thanks. If they wanted to treat me like I didn't matter, it was time they saw what life looked like without me quietly funding it. What I didn't realize was that canceling that payment would set off a chain of events none of us could have imagined. Because by the next morning, Lauren wasn't just angry. She was desperate. And what she said when she finally reached me? Let's just say, it changed everything. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below. I want to know if you've ever been underestimated by your own family. The call came at 7:14 a.m. sharp. I was still in bed, the early morning light spilling across the room, when my phone lit up with Lauren's name. Normally, I'd let it ring, but something about the timing, so early, so frantic, made me swipe to answer. "What?" My voice was flat, calm. "Chris." Her voice cracked, and for a second, I almost didn't recognize it. "The hotel canceled. They said the payment didn't go through. What the hell did you do?" I took a slow breath, staring at the ceiling. "I canceled it," I said simply. "You... what?" "You heard me." There was silence, and then the explosion I knew was coming. "Are you out of your mind? Mom's party is tomorrow. Everyone's flying in. The decorations, the band, the food. All things," I interrupted, "that I paid for. Quietly. Like I've done every year. But this year you told me not to come. So, why would I?" Her breath hitched on the other end. She wasn't used to this version of me. The version that didn't just quietly swallow the disrespect. "You're being petty," she spat. "This isn't about you. This is about Mom." "No," I said, my tone calm but sharp. "This has always been about you, Lauren. You've spent years treating me like I'm invisible, like I'm just lucky to exist in your perfect little world. You wanted me gone? Wish granted." For a moment, there was nothing but static. Then her voice dropped to a whisper, almost trembling. "Please, don't do this. Everyone is expecting tomorrow to be perfect. If you back out now, it's going to be a disaster." I let her words hang in the air, savoring the sudden shift in power. This was the same sister who once told me to know my place. The same sister who, just 12 hours ago, said I'd ruin the photos. Now she was begging. "Lauren," I said slowly, "do you know what it feels like to be used? To be the quiet wallet in the corner while everyone else takes the credit?" She didn't answer, and that silence told me everything I needed to know. "You have until noon," I said, my voice steady. "Figure out what my presence is worth to you. And if you can't, well, good luck explaining to Mom why her party has been downgraded to a potluck in the backyard. I hung up before she could respond. My phone buzzed again almost instantly, but I ignored it, tossing it onto the bed. I wasn't angry anymore. I was in control. And something told me this was only the beginning. By noon, my phone had racked up 12 missed calls and 7 unread texts, all from Lauren. At 12:01, the buzzing stopped. 5 minutes later, my phone rang again, this time with a FaceTime request. I let it ring out, then, just when it looked like she'd give up, I picked up. Her face filled the screen, flushed and tight, her perfect hair slightly out of place, a sign of panic if I'd ever seen one. "Chris," she said, her voice thin and sharp. "Look, I might have overreacted." I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence stretch. Might have? Her eyes flickered, frustration simmering just beneath the surface. "Fine, I did. I shouldn't have told you not to come. I thought it would be easier without..." She stopped herself, realizing she was about to make it worse. "What I mean is, your family. Mom would want you there." I tilted my head, watching her carefully. "You're not saying you're sorry, Lauren. You're saying you're inconvenienced." Her jaw tightened. "Do you want me to grovel? Is that what this is about? Because if so, fine. I'm sorry. Happy now?" The casual way she said it, like an apology was a chore she wanted to get over with, made something cold settle in my chest. "No," I said, my voice calm. "I'm not happy. But I'm done being your safety net. I told you to figure out what my presence is worth to you, and you didn't. So," I shrugged. "Good luck with the party." "Chris," she hissed, panic bleeding through her anger now. "You don't understand. The press will be there, Mom's friends. This can't happen. Please." "Then maybe," I said, my voice steady as steel, "you should have thought about that before you decided I was disposable." I ended the call and set the phone face down. A strange calm washed over me. Not the anxious calm of defeat, but the steady calm of someone who'd finally stopped playing by someone else's rules. For the first time in years, I felt powerful. And yet, deep down, I knew this was only the second act. Lauren wasn't done, and the real storm was still building. Saturday night arrived, but instead of standing in my usual spot, drink in hand, polite smile plastered on my face, I was on my balcony, watching the city lights flicker like distant stars. My phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from cousins, aunts, even a few old friends filled my screen. "Where are you?" "Your mom looks confused. Lauren said you weren't feeling well. Is that true?" I ignored them all. By 9 o'clock, photos started popping up on social media. My sister had spared no expense. Crystal chandeliers dripping with light, waiters in black bow ties, an entire orchestra playing in the background. It looked like something out of a movie. And yet, in every picture, I noticed the same thing. My mother's smile didn't reach her eyes. She looked hollow. Then came the video. Someone, probably one of my cousins, had posted a short clip. Mom stood in the middle of the ballroom, surrounded by guests raising champagne flutes. But instead of smiling, she asked in a quiet, almost trembling voice, "Where's Chris?" The room went awkwardly silent. Lauren stepped forward, plastering on a fake smile, and said something I couldn't quite hear over the background noise. But Mom's expression didn't change. If anything, her shoulders stiffened, like she knew she'd been lied to. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just about a birthday party. This was about years of me keeping the peace, of me swallowing every insult, every passive-aggressive comment just to avoid rocking the boat. Not anymore. I leaned back in my chair, sipped my coffee, and let the chaos play out without me. By midnight, the texts started changing. "Chris, please call me. Mom's asking questions. This is getting out of hand." And then one, from my cousin Mark. "She's furious. At Lauren." A slow smile tugged at my lips. For once, I wasn't the one scrambling to fix things. For once, my absence was louder than my presence had ever been. But deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. If there's one thing about Lauren, it's that she doesn't take losing control lightly. And the way my phone kept buzzing, I knew the fallout was coming. Hard. It was just after midnight when my phone lit up with her name, Lauren. For a moment, I considered ignoring it, letting her stew in the mess she made. But curiosity won. I swiped to answer, leaning back in my chair, keeping my voice deliberately calm. "Chris!" she hissed, her tone sharp and trembling. "What the hell did you do?" I almost laughed. "What I did?" "Lauren, you're the one who told me not to come." There was a pause on the other end, heavy and charged. I could practically hear her grinding her teeth. "You embarrassed Mom," she snapped. "People kept asking where you were, and she what?" I cut her off, my patience thinning. Realized that the person who paid for her entire party was sitting at home because her favorite daughter didn't want to share the spotlight. Her silence was all the confirmation I needed. The tables were finally turning, and she hated it. "Fix this," she demanded. "Mom is upset. She's asking questions I can't answer. Just come over tomorrow and smooth things over." I let her words hang in the air for a moment, savoring the desperation seeping into her voice. "No," I said, my tone calm but firm. "You wanted me gone, remember? You told me not to come. You made this mess. Now you get to explain it." Her voice rose an octave. "Chris, don't be ridiculous. This isn't about you." "Oh, it's very much about me," I interrupted, leaning forward now, my tone sharp as glass. "I've been the quiet one for years, Lauren. The one who paid for everything, the one who stayed out of your way. Not anymore. You wanted a show? Congratulations. You've got one." I hung up before she could respond, my hands steady, my chest oddly light. That was the moment I realized something. Power doesn't come from money or status. It comes from the ability to walk away, to let people drown in the chaos they created without lifting a finger to save them. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages from relatives. Some were demanding answers, others were siding with me. And then came the one that made me stop cold. It was from Mom. "Chris, can we talk? Alone, please." I stared at the message, a knot forming in my stomach. This wasn't going to be another confrontation or a guilt trip. No, this felt different. And deep down, I knew this conversation was going to change everything. The morning after the disastrous party, Chris, her chest still tight with anger, noticed a message blinking on her phone. "Chris, can we talk? Alone. Please. Mom." She read it twice, her pulse quickening. For years, her mother had brushed off Lauren's manipulation, painting her as the golden child while Chris quietly carried the family's weight. Was this finally different? When Chris arrived at her mother's house, she found her pale, eyes rimmed red. "Chris, was it true? Did you really pay for everything last night? The catering, the band, even the decorations?" Chris nodded firmly. "Yes, every single thing. And Lauren told me you didn't want me there." Her mother's hand trembled as it covered her mouth. For the first time in years, she didn't rush to defend Lauren. Instead, her voice cracked. "I didn't know. I swear." But what came next shifted everything. Her mother hesitated, then whispered, "There's something else. I think Lauren's been taking money from your father's estate. She told me it was for medical bills, but..." She swallowed hard. "It doesn't add up." Chris froze. Betrayal burned hot in her chest. Lauren wasn't just selfish. She was stealing. That night, Chris dug into the finances. Hours blurred together as she scrolled through documents and bank statements. Finally, she found it. Transfers. Hidden withdrawals. Thousands funneled into Lauren's private account. Chris sat back, fury coiling inside her. For years, she had been the quiet provider, footing bills and keeping the family afloat. And all along, Lauren had been bleeding them dry behind everyone's backs. The next morning, Lauren called, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Chris, about Mom. She's overreacting. Don't believe everything she says. You know how emotional she gets." Chris smiled coldly to herself. Lauren didn't know she had proof. Not yet. "Don't worry, Lauren," Chris said, her tone deceptively calm. "Everything will come to light soon enough." And she hung up, leaving her sister to stew. The following weekend, their mother called the family together. Lauren arrived dressed to impress, all fake smiles and charm, ready to control the narrative. But Chris came prepared. She laid a folder on the dining table. Before we start, I think everyone should see this. Inside, copies of transfers, bank records, irrefutable proof of Lauren's theft. Gasps rippled through the room. Their mother's face crumpled in shock. Relatives whispered accusations. Lauren's mask cracked instantly. It's not what it looks like. I was borrowing. I was going to pay it back. Chris's voice was sharp, steady. Borrowing? Years of secret withdrawals? You didn't just take money, Lauren. You took advantage of trust, of family. For once, silence swallowed the room. No one rushed to shield Lauren. The fallout was swift. Word spread through the family and beyond. Relatives who once adored Lauren stopped returning her calls. Friends she had bragged to distanced themselves. Their mother, usually her fiercest defender, finally broke. You lied, Lauren. You stole from your father's memory and you tried to erase your sister in the process. Enough. Lauren shouted, cried, begged, but her words carried no weight anymore. Her reign as the golden child had crumbled overnight. Chris didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Watching her sister squirm in the ruins of her own lies was satisfaction enough. Weeks later, Chris sat at her mother's kitchen table. The house felt quieter now, lighter somehow. Her mother poured tea with unsteady hands, then looked at her with weary eyes. Chris, I owe you more than an apology. I should have seen it. All these years, you were the one holding us together, and I was blind. Chris smiled faintly, not with bitterness, but with relief. Better late than never. The balance of power had shifted, but Chris didn't let it corrupt her. She carried the quiet satisfaction of truth finally outshining lies. Lauren had destroyed herself. Chris hadn't needed to lift more than a finger. And in the end, that was the sweetest revenge of all. What would you have done if your sister betrayed you like this? If you want more stories like this, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below.